Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the program today, the state senator who is pilloried in some portions of the media for accepting a job as a consultant to a television station news department. Mary Lau has the rundown.
Senator Cegavske knows that she's a target, Sam, and it's very difficult to work under those circumstances. It's going to be interesting to hear what she has to say. Sam?
And joining Mary and I on the Power Pundit panel today, Michael Hackett and Derek Morse. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
This is one of Sierra Power's main generating plants. It's right next door to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. These plants provide all the clean, reliable power that businesses need. TRI has 3 independent power generation facilities on site. For sensitive manufacturing companies and high-tech firms, this benefit is invaluable. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Since its creation more than a decade ago, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has focused on 3 goals: preserving water quality, improving water conservation in Southern Nevada, and meeting the community's current and future water needs. Through thoughtful planning, responsible management, and collaboration, it's succeeding. As we move into the 21st century, the authority continues to embrace sustainable water development and efficient water use. That's our promise to Nevada.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are joined, and actually, before we even start, I need a couple of disclosures here. First of all, I'm joined by Mary Lau, who's my co-host here, and she is the Executive Director of the Retail Association of Nevada, one of the proud sponsors of this show, but a darn good co-host, too. And it's a pleasure to have her here. Also, want to point out, because we're going to be talking about this, that the stations that this program airs on is Sunbelt Broadcasting owns them, and Jim Rogers, who's also the interim chancellor, is also the owners of these stations. With all of that disclosed, now let us introduce State Senator Barbara Cegavske in what I understand is the first full-length interview she's done since this brouhaha. Welcome to the program, Senator.
Thank you. I appreciate being asked to be on.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. Let's start out with a story, and correct me if I'm wrong anywhere along the way. In 2004, Sunbelt Broadcasting hired you to give advice on the legislature and education to the news department at KVBC down in Southern Nevada. Is that correct?
Yes, they asked for me to talk to them in reference to educational issues, both in our state and nationally. That's how it all started. And then they also asked about coming in to talk to them, and that kind of grew into it about the legislative process and helping people that are new to to the media world and coming to Vegas. We have a lot of first-time people in Nevada that come here.
Okay, now this was, I also want to point out that this was 6 months before Jim Rogers became the interim chancellor, correct?
Yes, it was way before he ever had thought about doing that, because the position wasn't open at the time.
Okay, now you also checked with the LCB, Legislative Council Bureau, and they gave it their okay?
They did originally, and then after he started as the interim, and we, thinking he would just be there a short period of time, they again told me that there was no conflict.
Okay, and during interim hearings, you disclosed your relationship?
Every single time. Every time I needed to, starting, I believe, we looked at it was August, that we disclosed it.
Okay, let me ask you, what were the nature of your dealings with KVBC? I mean, did you call them and give them political philosophy, conservative political philosophy, which you're a conservative, or what kind of questions were they asking, and what information were you giving?
No, like, for instance, on my graduating driver's license, we would call and talk about that. There were health issues that when the vending machines and the nutrition issues came, we also talked about those, because that's something that affects, not only our schools locally, statewide, and nationally. And with my background being in a lot of the national committees on ECS, Education Commission of the States, I, have national information also that I was able to share and talk about what trends are, what's going on in other states, and what we were looking for in our state.
Senator Cegavske, welcome this morning. It's
Thank
nice
you.
to see you again, dear. Actually, Senator, how much do you think that this whole brouhaha, or alleged brouhaha, was because you are a targeted candidate, and everybody knows that in the political world, everybody knows that your seat is one that they've looked to take over? Do you think it's more of giving the appearance of something wrong?
Well, as I think one of the other senators that was on your program a week or so ago indicated, he thought that this was more of a target at a journalist trying to make headway nationally to get some information against Channel 3 down in Las Vegas.
And he, by the way, works for a competing station down there.
Correct. That's correct. And so that's what's been, commented to me, because there were other reporters that have been in the room every time I disclosed, and nobody else ever said anything. And trust me, as an elected official, you always look out to see if there's conflicts in anything, and there was nothing that was ever brought up to myself or to Mr. Rogers.
Okay, now, let me ask you an obvious question. Since Jim Rogers has been interim chancellor, you have pretty strong opinions about education. You have not been particularly in favor of Nevada State College. Has Jim Rogers at any time tried to influence you in a way that was untoward?
No, in fact, since the session started, he's never come to lobby me. He's never talked to me at all about that during this session. He knew before he was a chancellor, I had talked to him about education, some of the education issues, and he knew where I stood on several. And he just asked why. He had before asked why, especially the Henderson State College, because I've been pretty vocal about my non-support of that entity coming into the state. And so he knew, and there was never a pressure, there was never anything or suggestions to vote anyway at all. There was nothing inappropriate about the relationship whatsoever.
I have another question about KVBC. Was there at any time a story that they did that had a political bias that was caused by you, to your knowledge?
No, absolutely not, because I never, that was never part of what we were doing.
All right, you went to the Ethics Commission to get an opinion from them about what you were doing, and what did they say?
They said that there was not that they did not see a conflict.
And then you resigned.
And I did. I wanted everyone to know that there wasn't anything wrong. I'd gotten 2 rulings, and that we had not done anything inappropriate. And then I decided that because of the reports that continue to come out, what you see in the paper, unfortunately, the perception. That it just wasn't worth it. Discussed it with my family, and we decided that this was the best thing for me at this time.
Just one last question on this, and then we'll take a break here.
But,
if you were going to do this all over again, would you have taken the position?
Yeah, well, if I know what I knew now,
Yeah.
I mean, no, but because you don't want that perception out there. But I have to tell you, Sam, I really enjoyed what I did. I was very, very careful, and that's one of the things that you know, my credibility, your reputation is very important to you. And so when something like this comes up, you have to weigh the perception in the public. You know, even though you know that you did everything right, you just have to weigh those things. But I truly enjoyed working with the people at Channel 3. It's a wonderful station. They have been rated #1, and I think that's, you know, because of how they're run. But in my opinion, there was nothing inappropriate about what happened. I think it was just someone's opinion that they thought it was journalistic integrity that was being damaged by the station. At least that's, you know, what I had gotten. So it was disappointing that it came out that way, and that was a perception.
Okay, let's take a break and come back and talk about real issues when we come back. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
Your best value in sight.
When you need a new employee, how can you be sure who you're really hiring? A background investigation by Employer Links will uncover criminal records, verify the applicant's education, check their credit history and Social Security verification. An investigation will research professional licenses and driver's licenses and let you know why they're unemployed. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers.
And now we continue our discussion with State Senator Barbara Cegavske.
Senator Cegavske, congratulations. Your graduated driver's license bill passed yesterday out of committee. How do you see it passing your house and then the other house?
Well, we have 20 out of the 21 senators signed on to it. So I believe it'll come out of our house, and I'm very excited about it. It's a great piece of legislation, and as you know, I've been trying to get this out of both houses and into law since 1997, and have met many obstacles. But this is a great piece of legislation. We have overwhelming support from parents, from teens, from administrators in the schools. Everyone is very supportive. Metro, Highway Patrol. All the public safety agencies are all in support of this bill.
Do you think the Assembly is going to be in support of the bill, Senator?
I've been working with John O'Seguera, who has indicated to us that he is in support of the piece of legislation. Now, the viewers need to know that both the bills and the houses are exactly the same, except for we've added to the form that the parents and the student have to fill out. They have to put the time and the date on the 50-hour form they have, and that's the only difference of these two bills. So there's an Assembly bill and a Senate bill, and hopefully they will merge together and pass out and be signed into law in the 2005 session.
Let's talk about education. You're in favor of pay for performance for teachers. How would that work?
Well, there's I don't know if you saw the Arnold Schwarzenegger article that came out. He's also doing something along these lines. every state kind of does something different for what they look at. How do you do that? We have a new standard-based reform, the No Child Left Behind, and we need to make sure that all students are being held at a higher subject matter standard, and so we are demanding that we have teachers that are qualified. So what we're looking at is we have teachers that go above and beyond. They should be being paid at a higher salary, and we should be looking at that at each individual level. I also support that teachers would be able to go out and do their own year-round contracts. We have teachers that want to work 9 months, and some want to work year-round, and we need teachers that can help us, like in the summer schools or the year-round schools, that could go in and do substituting, they could do remediation, they could help us, but they would like a year-round contract, and I would love to do that. We're looking at teachers being able to have some other incentives. They've talked to us about possibly having credits for college, to reinforce the things that they need to learn or continuing education. They've asked about housing. They've asked about other things, but the pay for performance is something that you're seeing all across the nation, and teachers that I talk to feel that if they're working hard and they're doing a good job, they should be compensated. When you start paying teachers, no matter where they are, if they're fulfilling their job or not, the same pay, that's not much of an incentive for the teachers that are doing so good in our classrooms. And we, by the way, have some fabulous teachers in our classrooms across the state.
Well, how will a contract help them? What can they accomplish with that, Senator?
Well, some of the teachers would be able to go in and negotiate, based on what their qualifications are and what they feel they could bring to a classroom. So that would help with at the administration being able to select and pick their team to come in and teach. I've heard about the Anderson Elementary School up here.
Doing terrific.
And they're doing a fabulous job. And there's a group of teachers and administrators that have all come together and decided they want to do what was best for the school. And you'll see that in charter schools when you can actually, pick your team or hire who you have, and businesses do the same thing. You hire those people that have the qualifications that can get you to the goals that you want.
Well, Senator, we really appreciate you being here today. We want you to come back and be on the show again, and we look forward to you being here in person. Thanks for doing it.
Thank you so much, Sam and Mary. I appreciate you having me on.
You're very welcome. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Until 3 years ago, my medical problems have been very few. I knew very little about the medical world. Then I got pneumonia, which produced heart trouble, and I was suddenly thrust into a whole new experience that was very bewildering and very difficult to handle.
One-stop access for caregivers, NevadaCareConnection.org.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
If it's hot, it's here at the Pepper Mill. The Pepper Mill has over 500 of the hottest video theme slots. And with the $100,000 Winter Video Theme Slot Fest, there's no smarter time to play these winning machines. Win your share of the money with $2,000 random cash giveaways every Monday and $5,000 drawings every Friday. And new players can get up to $100 free play.
The slots that rock are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you winning?
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers.
And we have a great Power Pundit panel, as always. We're joined by Terry Hickman, who is president of the Nevada State Education Association. Always a pleasure to have you here. Michael Hackett with Alrus Consulting, and Derek Morse, who is an RTC lobbyist, RTC from Northern Nevada. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
And gentlemen, welcome from me too. Terry, in the interview with Senator Cegavske, she talked about several things that she'd like to do with education, and education is getting a lot of push at the federal and state levels, teachers' performance pay, stuff like that. Have you talked to her about, or her idea of allowing teachers to negotiate their own contracts, and how would the NSA feel about that?
Well, we think there are collective bargaining agreements already in place, and to have 25,000 teachers be doing their own negotiating would seem a bit cumbersome. Certainly there are things we can do to enhance and to make changes, and we're certainly looking at things that can make teachers more successful, but I'm not sure that that's the step that we need to go this time.
And part of her conversation is the teacher, like in a 9-month school, they're out at summer, so they're finding other jobs where actually they could be within the school system doing things. And then the full-year schools, they've got time off when they really don't want it, or time off and they need to do something else. Is there a way that the union can help them alleviate those problems?
Well, I think the overall issue really is the funding of the schools. That sounds more symptomatic. I think the schools are underfunded. I think that teachers and support professionals need more support in the classroom. They need the tools to teach with, and certainly they need the support that the state can offer them to give the best our students can receive, not just what they can afford.
Okay, but at what point in time does the money spent, does the product change? And I know we're talking about children's and lives and everything else, but what we talk about is the fact that education hasn't changed in quantitative test scores and things like this. I mean, we're all hearing this, Terry, so what do you think is a better alternative? Other than just money, how would more money be spent to assist?
Well, a perfect example is perhaps full-day kindergarten, which research shows that test scores raise as a result of, and yet the state has refused to fund it. It talks about wanting to prioritize education, but doesn't put the money into it. We talk about smaller class sizes, but that's only for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. What about 4th through 12th? How many students in Nevada have to go to schools without textbooks before we decide to fund, to put the money into what we know works? Before we go into something new, let us totally support and fund what does work, and we're currently not doing that.
Okay, Michael, you want to jump in here?
My feelings, I do agree with Terry. Study does show that all-day kindergarten has proved to have significant benefits. It does come with a cost, and that has been the obstacle in why something hasn't moved in that area. I think what some people want to see, particularly legislators and others, is they want to see some accountability measures to go along with any type of increased funding that goes to education. I mean, they want to see that they're getting the bang for their buck and that the money is going to the right places, that it's going into the classroom, as Terry said, to provide the tools that these students really need to excel in school.
Derek?
Well, I'm not an educator, but having a child in kindergarten and 2 more on the way now, I think full-day kindergarten would be, a remarkably good investment for the state to make in our children. And I had the benefit of that when I was growing up, and I think it helped me. And I look at what it's done for our kids, and I just think they would benefit by that, and it would give them a boost into what's going on in school. And we keep talking about education being so important, being a priority, being the children being our future and everything. I agree. I think we need to put the money where our mouths are and support something like that.
Okay, but you said you had the benefit of it. Was it provided by a state, or was it provided by your parents?
No, that was provided by the state.
It was?
Yeah.
What? And not in the state of Nevada?
No, not in the state of Nevada.
When Nevada ranks 47th in per pupil funding, we are the 4th from the bottom in per pupil funding. And what that translates into is less money for classrooms than most other states, certainly not full-day kindergarten. Teachers and support professionals have beginning salaries that are extremely low in comparison to many other states, so you don't retain and attract the best. So we have lots of issues that come out of that 47th ranking. And Nevada was 45th 2 years ago.
Okay, I got to ask you,
It's going to be a lot of debate.
What did you think of Andre Agassi's testimony and talking about $7,000 per pupil for the funding, and that's actually the national average.
I thought it was very interesting. It seemed to be kind of glossed over by many in the legislature, but that's the goal apparently of the Agassiz School, is that they do fund to the national average. They get the basic support.
Which is a number I couldn't get out of you.
No, maybe I didn't hear it right. The basic support is around 4,300, somewhere in there, for Clark County students from the state, plus local money, but the national average is sitting around 7,200. So the difference means that you have more tools, more supplies, and the Agassiz kids are really having have more tools to work with than the average student in Clark County, which brings into mind how is that happening? Because it's being funded by outside support. Why do charter public schools have to have more money? Because they know it makes a difference. Our regular public schools are unfortunately not funded to that level.
Okay, we got a quick response from you guys.
Well, my feeling is funding is important, but funding is not the be-all and end-all to quality education. Just look at the District of Columbia. I believe they spend the most on a per-pupil average than any school district or any jurisdiction in the country, and yet their results are typically near the bottom of the scale. So, again, as long as the funding is properly allocated to the classroom, to the materials and the tools that the students need, then it's a winner.
Okay, Derek, you got the last 15 seconds.
This is such a complex issue, and I would agree funding isn't everything. It's very important, though. A lot of it is just, what is our culture of how we talk to our kids, how we read to them in the evenings, how we do all those other things, because those are the same habits that they're going to carry forward for their kids, and we've got to make sure that part of the support network is there, too, to make sure that people are doing all the other things besides funding, which is important, to make sure the kids are successful.
And that's where we got to leave it. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
This is one of Sierra Power's main generating plants. It's right next door to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. These plants provide all the clean, reliable power that businesses need. TRI has 3 independent power generation facilities on site. For sensitive manufacturing companies and high-tech firms, this benefit is invaluable. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
If you live in northern Nevada, you can catch all 4 episodes of Nevada Newsmakers on News Talk 780 KOH Sunday mornings from 9 until 11. Who's coming up on Monday?
Sam, it's Chief Justice Nancy Becker and Assemblywoman Sheila Leslie.
We'll see you then.